What is happening, everybody? My name's Seven and welcome to a Fortnite video. I hope that you enjoyed this video and I hope that it gives you some awesome advice to help you try and win more games. Now, everything in here are things that I've done in the past that I've gutted myself over. I'm like, oh my god, I cannot believe it. So if this is helpful to you, smash that subscribe, hit that like button and suggest other videos you'd like to see from me in the comments below. Let's get straight into number 10. Now, number 10 is all about the landing locations. I've made numerous videos on where you can land in the game. Now, there are so many cool places where you can land and you can be by yourself most of the time, let's say, and you can go and get some of the chests and get some good loot to begin with, but you're out in the sticks. You have two choices. You are either an aggressive player and you want to land dead on to the first location that the bus flies over. This is the best option for anyone who wants to get the best gameplays with the best kills and get the wins, but this is also a really good tactic for improving your actual ability as well. But if you're somebody who isn't confident enough yet, or you are confident, you just want to play laid back, you need to pick a location that's out there somewhere that's a little bit more chilled. So definitely take a look through some of my location videos and consider where you're landing very, very carefully, because your landing location is only going to decide whether your game lasts 2 seconds just like that guy, or whether you actually end up winning the game itself. Our next tip is slightly out of your hands, or if not at all, completely out of your hands, because when you're in the game, there's something called RNG, which RNG is random number generator, which basically means items are randomly generated, and in battle royale games that is loot. As you can see from the background, I already have so much good loot, and I then get another amazing chest. Depending on whether it's at the start of the game, whether it's mid-game, whether you go for supply drops, no matter where you're going to collect your loot, RNG is going to be a massive factor. Now, you have to pay attention to whatever is going on, whether you've just only been gifted a pistol or a shotgun. As a player, you need to learn how to utilize a large majority of the weapons in the game, otherwise RNG will leave you in a position where you'll never be able to get a good start, because you'll always need those great weapons to be able to gift yourself a starter in the game. So definitely practice with every weapon you possibly can that RNG gives you. Now, moving on to number 8, there is another thing to do with looting, as I mentioned before. If you over-loot. Now, over-looting will definitely lead to your death. Now, in this situation, I was happily looting away, I was getting some awesome gear, and then some grenades started coming in. I was so in my own little world, and it does lead into a different situation, and I was in a predicament where I then led into a fight. But the same thing does apply for when you're going, for example, a supply drop. If you're over-looting, sometimes you'll make it, and sometimes you'll come out with loads of loot, like you'll see in this following clip right here. I get the loot I'm happy with, I'm like, okay, cool, got a sniper, got some bricks, some bullets, I've got some med packs, I'm down with that. But there are other times where if you overloot, you can die because you're being too greedy. In this situation, I really did not need to go for this actual supply drop. My positioning was so bad that a sniper spots me and it does end up finishing me off, and I end up dying after getting the supply drop. This is a habit of mine that is really bad. In the clip you're about to see, it is so disgusting. My shot was all over the place. I was a potato completely. But not only was I a potato, but I wasn't paying attention to the rounds that I had in my weapon. I was so focused on finding the enemy that I didn't pay attention to reloading. You need to make sure that every time you pick up a weapon, whether you looted off somebody else or whether you've just, had it on you the whole time, you just came out of a conflict, you must reload. If you don't remember to reload, you can get into a predicament where you might need to fire off a good couple of rounds, and because you ain't got the ammunition in the chamber, you might then panic and then switch to a different weapon, and it might ultimately lead to your death. Now, in this situation, if I'd landed the pistol shot and then followed with the assault rifle rounds that I'd actually hit into the enemy, there's a high chance that this guy probably wouldn't have killed me, but he does. And so I ended up dying, not only because of my potato aim, but because I also forgot to reload my weapon. God damn it. Moving on to number 6, in regards to using the weapons and actually how you reload, you need to find a sensitivity. You have something called muscle memory, which applies to pretty much every activity you do in life, and when you're playing games, muscle memory is the ultimate factor of like how good you become with a certain set of settings. Now, I've found my settings that personally work for me, and if you want a video on that, do let me know in the comments. I can show you what I actually use and kind of go through the suggestions that I personally have, but I tend to find find a slower aim is a lot better. It means you can focus your fire, but you need to practice with a set sensitivity. Don't spend so much time throwing it around, changing it all the time. The more you change it, the less likely you're going to adjust, and the less likely you're going to be able to win gunfights. And we all know to win Battle Royale, you're going to have to at least get one kill. So sensitivity is a massive game changer. Make sure that you perfect yours and you will become a master with your weapon. I'm really bad for panicking. And in tip number 5, we're going to be talking about this today, and I can guarantee so many of you guys, when playing this game, panic. Your heart races, you want to get that win, you're so focused, you're so absorbed, but the next thing you find out is that by panicking too much, you've missed too many bullets, or you've made a daft play and you've used too much of your rockets, or you've pushed somebody you didn't need to push, and now you're in a predicament you don't know how to solve. Now, in this clip, I go crazy with the rockets. For some reason, the guy survives all of them, not a single one causes any damage to him, and I'm in a predicament where I really did not need to even have a gunfight with him. Now, if I hadn't panicked in this situation, I could have probably utilized those rockets a bit better, destroyed his structures a little bit easier, maybe even killed him. But because I panicked, I was focusing more on what I was doing with my shotgun, I wasn't really paying attention to what was around me, and it ultimately led to my death. So control your heart rate and focus instead of panicking. It's a big change. Looking at number 4, this is all about building. Now, so many people in the game still don't build. So many people just hide in trees, or they hide in bushes, or they might get a bit of wood here and there, but they don't actually spend time collecting resources. When you land in a heavy duty area, say for example I landed at this caravan park, I cleaned out the area, I got all the kills I needed, and I knew there was no enemies around. I knew that the actual zone was on me, and I knew that, you know, I only had a short run to the next city, but I was pretty confident I could go around comfortably looting, getting resources. I believe at the end of this I had like 500 metal, which we all know is a lot of metal. That is going to help you in the long run, and without a doubt it actually did for base building later in the game. So don't underestimate the actual building and resource collecting. A lot of people do just wait until they kill an enemy to get resources. This does work too, but you might as well have some on your own just to give yourself that little bit more defense when actually playing and moving through the game. Taking a look at number 3, this is another reason why you need to collect resources. If you don't know how to panic wall already, this is basically key binding or just getting used to the controls for building. And when you're getting in a situation where you're playing aggressive with a player, or you're trying to escape from a player, you want to be able to learn to quickly build set structures. Now, I've actually already spoken about different buildings and different structures you can create. And if it wasn't for panic building, which is instantly building as fast as I could, in this situation, I would have died. I had a huge advantage over the enemy, and if it wasn't for panic building, I genuinely would have passed away. I would have had no chance at all of surviving, and I wouldn't have got all this wonderful loot that you've already seen previously in a clip, which, by the way, I then lead into going and panicking. So I went from a brilliant panic situation where I was able to place the walls down to a situation where I lost it. You definitely need to build and use those panic walls because it will save your life, and it probably would have saved me in this following few moments, to be honest. Looking at number 2, this is all about playing too aggressive or playing too passive. Now, towards the end game, it's a massive thing to play aggressive, to get those kills, to clear people out, but sometimes it depends on the enemies you're going against. Sometimes it is better to play passive because other enemies are playing really passive too. You might not be able to spot someone sitting in a bush, someone sitting high up on a mountain. You never really know where anyone's at until you've spotted them and you know they're either building a base or they're high up on a mountain. But if you are too slow or you're too aggressive, you will only take damage and it will only ruin your end game, and most likely you probably won't even get the win anyway. And there's so many occasions, including this one you're seeing right here, I played way too aggressive. I should have been building and putting structures together, but instead I was just attacking everyone mid-game, and bang, I just get easily picked by someone playing really passive. So make the choice between being passive or aggressive and stick to it. For our final tip today, this is all going to be about moving into the zone. You will see so many players moving too late into the zone. It might be because they're over looting, or they're going to grab too much resources, or they're just been starting fights with absolutely everybody for no reason whatsoever, just because they're kill hungry. This is something that happens all the time. And even when moving into the zone as well, and even if you do pay attention to the notifications that have just popped up there, then a lot of people do attack the people that are actually in front of them heading into the zone as well. Avoid doing that and only head into the zone when you're prepped to go in. But don't leave it too late, because the zone is not to be messed with. It will kill you guaranteed, and if not kill you, it will weaken you and get you down to those low points, which you'll then have to waste all your resources on to try and recover from. So move early, but not too early, so get that timing right. I hope these tips have actually helped you all, and I'll speak to you in the comments below. Thank you for watching, take care of yourselves, peace.